Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble News channel. Tell me where you think Bitcoin's price will go in the long run. It's currently around $63,000. The crypto market is at its worst now. There is a lot of fear and pain. The traditional markets are falling apart. Gold acts like there is a war going on. When things like this happen, you know what the pros say. Look at how scared the news media is as the market falls. At this very moment, the two most famous cryptocurrencies in the world are going down after going over 70,000 3 days ago. Bitcoin is now worth $63,994, having lost more than $7,000. Ethereum. That one is getting smaller by about $120 or 3.7% to $31.8. ETFs that track the current price of Ether, like the Franklin Templeton Grasdale ETF, the Invesco Ether ETF, and the BlackRock Ether ETF are all in the red right now. The X Ether ETF, which trades under the ticker ETHV, is down about 10% to 11% since it started trading on July 3rd. It was you who first asked for the Ether ETF and the spot Bitcoin ETF. The first thing is that Ether hasn't done as well since its start as Bitcoin has. How much money has been put into your ETF fund so far? I think they hurt the business more than they help it. And I think we're about 100% of the way to 100% of the available funds. So, not at all like Bitcoin. By that I mean that the Bitcoin ETFs were almost the most successful product launch in the history of ETFs. That's okay though, because I like to keep the Ethereum story balanced. It has both good and bad points, and buyers should be aware of both. Bitcoin or Ethereum, which do you like more? Bitcoin. How much do you charge? I like gold. Guys, I think this is a chance to buy the dip because most people don't know what's going on. I like the way the Susquehanna planner puts it. He knows a lot about this. This seems very right to me. Pay attention. What does the so-called fear index on Wall Street tell us about the next move of the market? Chris Murphy is here to talk about his job as co-head of derivative strategy at Susquehanna. Chris, you have the floor. Tell me, yes. Like you said, highs are coming up in a little over a year. There are two things that we look at that are the same thing. In the short, medium, and long term, those terms just mean that fear and worry are higher in the short term than in the medium and long term. We often see that as a sign that a lot of the stress is being priced into the present moment. In fact, 80% to 90% of the time, when we see something like that happen, it's a month later. When the SP goes up, it means that a lot of people are scared all at once. Wow. So let me make sure I understand. You say it's a positive sign when it's inverted like it is now and jumps a lot in one day. 9 times out of 10. Now you have to ask yourself, are we in COVID, the great financial crisis, or one of those other 1 out of 10 situations? Or have we reached a point where positioning looks really off? There is definitely some short-term pain in a lot of the busy spots. So is this something that will happen over time? When rates went up, the job market would start to slow down. It took a little longer than planned, which made these offside situations get a lot worse. And because of that, we might feel more pain in the short term as those positions are paid off. We also saw some signs. That could be the case. From where I stand though, it doesn't look like a longer-term unknown. People are setting themselves up as if this week will be the same as last week, since buy the dip has worked all year. Now things start to get interesting. Guys, if you want to be investors, you need to think about the long run. What if people who believed in Amazon had sold their shares when the market was too unstable, like in the early 2000s? You need to look. The bigger change that's taking place here. The CEO of VanEck's just made a crazy Bitcoin guess. Do you agree with him? Do you think he's being honest when he makes this prediction? Tell me. Tell me where you think Bitcoin's price will go in the long run. It's currently around $63,000. So about a year ago, I started beating the table because the Fed is going to start easing here at some point. That's great for Bitcoin and gold. I said that Bitcoin is getting bigger and will finally have half the market value of gold. That's about $350,000. We still have a long way to go. A lot of people would watch the Super Bowl if central banks accepted it and made it a part of the money system. I don't want to talk about that a lot though. How many? More than 2 million? More than 3? Yes, about 2.9. We have a model, which means you need to look at the assumptions. Okay. There are of course always big ifs there. Right now, where do you keep your own money? Longer-term trends are more interesting to me. I like being sure about what will happen in 5 or 10 years, even if it goes through some rough patches. There's no doubt in my mind that Bitcoin is following the same path as gold. I just believe it's clear. Now, I believe that everyone should have a diverse portfolio. Having a big exposure to Bitcoin is a personal choice, but I see that number going up. Let me show you something else. China. Indian business is the best big story. Everyone agrees that the stock prices are too high. I get it, but there's no question that Indian stocks have done just as well as us stocks over the last 10 years and will continue to do so. He was a gold bug, though. Of course, the person who started VanEck's. So you're now in charge of the company. Good job, you've been doing well. It looks like you're now in charge of the $100 billion. Thanks, Jan. Listen up, guys. Morgan Stanley was one of the first banks to sell Bitcoin to their clients. This is important. I don't think the market has priced this in yet or is thinking about what it means. They are the first big bank to let their customers buy Bitcoin through exchange-traded funds ETFs. In 6 months, this is likely to happen with Ethereum. But now that Morgan Stanley is on board, this is only the beginning. More will follow. Don't forget why this is such a big deal. About 6 months ago, Cathie Wood's ARK Invest said this would happen. Hey Bitcoin, good job on your ETF. It's done really well. You're now third. This is like David vs. Goliath. Also, this is a great win for us. We're still not done. In fact, the wirehouses that buy most of our products are what make our business interesting. Okay, Morgan Stanley, UBS, Merrill Lynch at B of A, and Wells Fargo are all wirehouses with managers. Not a single one of them has enabled Bitcoin on their platform. That hasn't even taken place yet. Those people are our main clients. Wait until you see what happens. An explosion. Of course, past performance doesn't always mean future performance, but I tend to watch this movie when the market goes down. I don't think you've seen this video again recently. Do not get Bitcoin. $13 and then fell all the way to $70. Another time, Bitcoin went all the way up to $1,100 and then all the way down to $239. The lesson is that you shouldn't buy Bitcoin because you know it will crash again. Okay, what if Bitcoin gets more than 1 million? Will there be 2.9 million Bitcoins in 2050? That's the question. As well as commenting on YouTube videos, let's also talk to some of your favorite artists on the Roundtable app, which doesn't use bots. This is the post I just made. I look forward to reading your thoughts. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. I believe that Bitcoin will reach a new all-time high in September. Still, anything can happen. It's definitely exciting to be in the crypto market. Tell me what you're all about. Friends, I'll see you tomorrow.